They say imitation is the greatest form of flattery, which is pretty apt when you think we went from this...
The member for Clacton wants to be Prime Minister. He can't even lead a party that fits in the back of a taxi.
Yeah, that was a few months ago. So we went from that to this.
The results are disappointing. We get it. And we were elected in last year to bring about change. That's what people desperately want.
So the bodies are still warm after Reform's election bloodbath last week, and now the political chameleons are crawling out from under their rocks, aren't they? The Prime Minister told you he gets it, which, as far as I can tell, means copying Reform. Keir Starmer finished his muesli this morning and fired off a tweet using the language of his turquoise rivals. He said, "The Tories lost control of our borders and let net migration soar to record levels, undercutting hard-working Brits. I won't stand for it. I promise to restore control and cut migration, and I'm delivering with tough new measures." Well, I saw that tweet and it made me think of this.
Ooh, you're hard, showing off.
Anyway, that wasn't the last of Labour's Reform-inspired transformation, because Home Secretary Yvette Cooper took to the airwaves this morning to announce Labour would kick out visa overstayers.
So we're doing a major digital overhaul now with the introduction of e-visas. It's effectively like a digital ID now for all overseas citizens. Then got much clearer systems in place to be able to track whether people have actually returned at the point that they should have done at the end of their visa or not.
Then she went on the BBC and said care homes would be banned from hiring foreign workers.
We're going to change those rules this year to prevent the care worker visa being used to recruit from abroad. So we will close. They are here, and care companies should be recruiting from that pool of people rather than recruiting from abroad. So we are closing recruitment from abroad.
Spin Doctors managed to bag a front page in the Mail on Sunday with this story, headlined, "Amid panic over Reform surge, Labour finally gets tough on foreign offenders. Commit any crime and you're out. Migrants are to be warned." And Labour's press office bagged a brace with another splash on the Sunday Express cover today. It was headlined, "New crackdown on immigration lawyers abusing the system." It was billed as the biggest overhaul of immigration laws since Brexit. And on the Sunday Telegraph front page, Labour scored a hat-trick. The headline read, "Skilled migrants will need degrees if they want a job in Britain." But it wasn't just the government for whom the penny dropped today. This was Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp speaking with Camilla Tominey on GBNews this morning about repealing the Human Rights Act for immigration cases.
The Human Rights Act in relation to all immigration matters, including foreign criminals, which means that UK judges will no longer be able to use human rights judgments to keep foreign criminals and others in the UK.
It was a good start to the morning for Mr Philp, but unfortunately then he went on to the BBC and dropped this blunder.
Levels substantially further down, below the most recent forecasts from the OBS and ONR, which are about 300 to 350,000 a year.
So that was a pledge to drop immigration levels to below 350,000 a year. Below 350,000. Oh dear. Well, I guess the Tories still haven't quite read the room yet. But for the Labour government, at least, it's not just immigration where they need to get their act together. Labour's Red Wall MP Jo White was asked whether she thought Keir Starmer was the right man to lead the party.
They're not listening to the work we're doing. They don't believe us anymore. And I want Keir Starmer and other cabinet members to come out to communities like mine and to talk to the voters about what we want to do and listen to them.
And in the Mail on Sunday, Dan Hodges detailed how Keir Starmer is facing a leadership rebellion. Headlined, "Labour MPs tell me Starmer is facing open rebellion." One Labour veteran told Dan Hodges, "It's amazing to watch. I never thought it would unravel this quickly. What's most incredible is how many of the new intake are openly saying they've had it with Keir Starmer." And as for Reform UK, Deputy Leader Richard Tice pressed on with immigration when he told Camilla Tominey the party would use every legal lever to close asylum hotels in Reform-run councils.
We will be using every possible legal lever to try to resist bringing asylum seekers, whether it's into hotels or housing, in the councils we control. The Greens and the Lib Dems are rather keen on them in their councils, so in the nicest possible way, you're welcome, folks.
Oh.
Right, so there we go. Who's going to win this game of political theatre? Who is the real deal that the nation can trust? And who are the chameleons in the Commons trying to hoodwink the nation? Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GBNews discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GBnews to start protecting yourself digitally today. Let's get the thoughts of my panel now. The businessman and activist Adam Brooks, political commentator Chloe Dobbs, and the former Labour Minister Bill Rammell. Good evening, folks.
Good evening.
Welcome along. Bill, we'll start with you. Do you get the sense that Labour are reacting to that election bloodbath by trying to mimic reform?
No, I don't, and it's a good piece of pro-reform spin, Ben, but Labour's actually implementing the manifesto that it was elected on to reduce net migration, to reduce reliance on foreign workers. The white paper that's being announced tomorrow has been 6 months in the planning to get the detail right, to get the policies right. So, you know, I know there's a fantasy world, often in GBNews studios, where, you know, there's a belief or a desire to believe that Labour isn't concerned about immigration and doesn't want to reduce it. The reality is, from the first day it was elected, this government does want to reduce net migration. There's already been some progress, but we need more. Yeah. And the proposals tomorrow, I think, are a number of really effective policies to make that happen.
All right. Bill, it's not just a GBNews studio fantasy that there's a concern about Labour's stance on migration. Look at the election results from last week. It was an absolute bloodbath. I don't think all those people who voted in the election watch GBNews, although we'd like them to. Genuine people, voters, the electorate, don't trust Labour to tackle legal and illegal migration. You have to agree
and I recognise...
Otherwise, why did it get slaughtered?
Yeah, and I recognise that is a challenge that we face. And we live in a political era where the political half-life for, you know, trust on being able to deliver is much less than it was. But the only thing that will turn this round is actually delivering on the numbers. And that's the advantage that the Labour Party has got compared to the Conservative Party and compared to Reform. I think with these changes, the numbers will come down, and that will be the proof in the pudding.
Adam and Chloe are both shaking their heads. Adam, we'll go to you.
I find that quite laughable, what Bill said there. Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
You do not remove legislation that makes it illegal to cross the channel on a dinghy if you're serious about stopping that exactly happening. You do not promise to get rid of migrant hotels and then suddenly sign us up to 5-year contracts for hundreds more. You do not...
The government didn't do that.
Yes, they have.
No, they haven't. No, those contracts were signed by the previous Conservative government, and the commitment
are being used
to
now
end
under Labour than in the Tories.
And yes, because we inherited a system that was in crisis. But the commitment to end hotel use was a commitment for a 5-year parliament. So we've been in government for 9 months.
Pre-election, we're going to smash the gangs. It was all over every newspaper. That was a pre-election promise. Not smash one gang. Not one. You're liars. Labour are liars. And
Are you stunned in silence?
Look, no, I'm not. In your fantasy world, you think that
I'm with the majority, Bill.
you think you can just say things and make it happen.
Bill,
the system was broken.
But I think that you are in a fantasy world to suggest that Labour have not made any mistakes in the time that they have been in government. I mean, the statement they put out after they lost the Runcorn by-election just to me showed they really are not reading the room and recognising the fact that they have made mistakes on specifically the point of hotels. They may have made a commitment that is for in 5 years, right? But the number of hotels is going up, and their solution to the problem seems to be pushing them out of hotels and into private rented accommodation. You've got people being evicted, right? The Labour Party, they're acting as though, nothing's gone wrong, our plan is just taking time, but the electorate are absolutely furious. And I think that it is wrong to suggest that after the result, they are not panicking. There has clearly been a marked change of tune in their messaging, which does reek of desperation.
Do you agree with any of that?
And is clearly trying to copy the Reform Party.
No, it's not. Look, the white paper that's coming out tomorrow has been 6 months in the planning. The idea that we've just conjured this up in response to local elections.
Any minute element of Chloe's comment there that Labour must be thinking about manoeuvring or changing tact in response to reform? Surely,
No. I take this on board. You say, I don't think that the government's made mistakes. It has. I've got an article on the GBNews website today saying there needs to be a U-turn on the winter fuel allowance. I think that was a significant error, and it should be overturned. But on migration, I know from my experience in government, you can do all the right things, but it takes time to bring the numbers down. We reduced asylum claims from 85,000 to 15,000, but it took 5 years. And any party and any politician who suggests otherwise, and there's a magic solution over a few months, is misleading people.
Just on your mini debate there with Adam about asylum hotels, there was a story that has just dropped recently in the last hours or so on the Daily Express saying the Home Office has published new contracts to run migrant processing centres in Kent with expiry dates to 2023, so it's from October. The contract was worth £521 million. So they are opening new migrant hotels and processing centres.
I haven't seen that. The vast bulk of them were agreed under the last Conservative government, and they go through to 2029, and there's nothing that you can do about that. But the key is, over 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, but they're going up, right? The boat crossings, the numbers are going up. I understand, Bill, when you say things take time, and I know sometimes the electorate can think quite short term, but the reality is it's not even heading in the right direction. The problem is getting worse. Can you not see why the electorate are furious and voted for reform?
But that's where we need to focus on the changes that are being made tomorrow that are real and substantive and will bring numbers down.
Yeah. OK, guys, thank you very much. Fiery start. You'll be with me throughout the next 2 hours. I'm looking forward to it.